Hi there my crafty friends, this is card number 9 in my full deck challenge. It's going to be a bright purple, so stick around and see how I create it. I start with a layer of white tissue paper that I've stuck to the card with Mod Podge. I do this to help the paint, ink and texture paste that I use to adhere better to the card surface. I also apply a layer of Mod Podge over the top of the tissue paper and dry it well. Now I'm adding some stenciling with texture paste and a stencil. I like these little dots and they're quite effective, but you can use any stencil that you have. I'll start with my lightest color first. This is called Milled Lavender by Tim Holtz. I'm going to spray some on. It is a spray ink. And then I'm also going to put a few drops just from inside the bottle so there's some darker areas, and just let it run through the grooves of the texture paste. I dry each layer before I apply the next color. I'm going to use this watercolor paint which is called Violet, but first I'm going to put some more of the ink. I have an ink pad in this Wilted Violet, and I'm going to apply this onto an acrylic block and wet it, and then press the card into the wet ink and let it pick up the colors. And as you can see, it's picked up the darker colors onto the little dots, which I really like. And I'm just going to add a little bit more with my paintbrush and some spraying with some water just to allow it to flow. I like it quite uneven. I like darker areas and lighter areas, and I'm going to build these colors up as I go. I'm trying to decide on an embellishment for this card, and I started off thinking I wanted to use stamps, so I pulled out all the stamps with the colors of the purple that matched, but I wasn't quite happy with the look, and I think it's because I was looking for a purplish stamp to go with a purple background, and it was a bit of a purple overload. So then I decided to go to a totally different embellishment, and I'm going to use a little paper flower that I'm going to make that I've used in a previous altered playing card that was not part of this full deck challenge. I have a purple watercolor pencil. I'm dipping the point in some water and I'm smudging around the edges of the card and rubbing it with my finger just to give it additional texture and some more color depth. I've put some cheesecloth down and trying the different stamps, but this is not working, so I go for a different plan. I'm using a page from an old encyclopedia. I'm doing a rough shape of a petal, and then I'm folding the pages over so that when I cut, I only cut once, and I cut out my little petals. This is the beginning of my flower. I'm using a dark purple cardstock as the center. I'm just cutting a rough circle, and that'll be the center of my flower. I've decided that I'm going to put a little bit of black thread underneath the flower. I do like this look and use it quite often. And to balance out the black, I'm going to add a little bit of black paint on the actual background too. I've watered down some black acrylic paint. I'm just adding a little bit on the edges and then spraying with my water bottle to let it flow down. I don't want it too dark. I want it just for contrast. After the black is dry, I do one more layer of purple. I want the dots to be a little bit slightly brighter, so I'm doing the technique on the acrylic block with the bright purple paint. I use a hot glue gun to add the petals to the back of the circle center. You could stick them directly onto the card, but I just think I would rather get the flower right first before I adhere it to the final project to be able to get the petal spacing right. The flower is not perfectly symmetrical, but I like it like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. I play around with the black thread and try and see where I'm going to place my flower. I use hot glue to stick it in its final position. I'm using a black fine liner to add some definition to the petals, a bit of like an outline or a squiggle. So I'm just going roughly around, not right on the edge, a little bit in from the edge, a couple of lines and around the center, and I think it gives it good definition. I use a little bit of craft glue to attach the threads in certain places where they have lifted or if I want them in a certain position. They seem to be a little long, and that's okay. I'm just going to put them and glue them to the position where I want. I'm using these words for my card. It is from a Kaisercraft 12-inch by 12-inch scrapbook paper. I will put the design and name in the description of this video. I'm just cutting out the word amazing and I want to give it a background, so I've stuck it onto the same encyclopedia page as the flower. I've taken it and done it sideways as I don't want actual wording to be visible underneath and on top of the word. If it's sideways, it just picks up the color and some of the text. And I just see where I want to position it, and then I glue it down with my hot glue. And that, my friends, is card number 9. I punch a hole in the corner to attach it to the rest of my collection, and we're done. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it and got some inspiration to create your own or to join me in the full deck challenge. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell button so you can get notification when I upload new content. I'll see you again soon. Bye.